After the ban on the film made by BBC on the 2002 riots, there have been efforts on to try and screen it on campuses across India. After JNU, now Jamia and Jadavpur University are bracing themselves for a showdown over the screening of the docu-series India, the Modi Question. As the second episode is released, the left and Congress student bodies have vowed to screen the banned series across campuses in India as an assertion of free speech. This, remember, is banned in India as the government called it distorted propaganda which will disrupt peace. But the left bodies are set to take the banned series to all of these universities. In fact, first there were protests seen on the Hyderabad campus, across campuses in Kerala. Now it has spread to JNU, where there was violence seen yesterday, and today in Jamia also there were efforts to try and screen the film. While it's one thing to contest the ban, it's quite another for a protest to turn violent. During the screening there was stone pelting and clashes reported last night. Even a journalist of JNU TV was heckled, shoved, pushed while he was covering the protest. He was called pro-RSS, a fascist, and told to leave the campus. In fact, Times Now spoke to the reporter you just saw in that entire sequence, Gautam Narayan. He narrates how he wasn't just abused but also assaulted, and he in his complaint has squarely blamed the left-leaning student union groups of JNU for the attack on him.
Yesterday evening, we are continuing giving a live related with this BBC documentary. After 11 o'clock, you know that there are some clash happened between two student organizations. In that time, there are some students came from the campus. They attacked me and my cameraman without any provocation, because we are giving live about the documentary and the issues happened in the campus. But I don't know why they are attacked without any provocation. They are attacking me and disturbed our live communication. So they are raising some slogans. They are raising slogans against RSS, BJP, and they says that our channel JNU TV, it is very close to RSS in Kerala. So they so immediately we back to our office. You can't work inside the JNU campus. You are RSS people, so you go back. This slogan are raised by these students.
Who were these? The big news now coming in is that the screening of the film, at least for now, in Jamia University has been called off, and the Vice Chancellor has also promised action. Let me take this straight across to Mayank, Rishabh, Priyank and Tejshri, all of our reporters joining us live from across the two university campuses. Mayank, in fact, to you first, is it for a fact now that the documentary will not be screened today?
Well, absolutely. See, Student Federation of India has come forward saying that 7 of their members have been detained by police, and that's why they will not go ahead with this screening. It was scheduled earlier to start at 6, but it did not start. The students and some of the researchers even in the Jamia University saying that, you know, it was a non-issue for them, but fact that there was no permission given for the screening begs a question that, you know, that why it was not allowed. Joining with me is a researcher from Jamia. Sir, can you introduce yourself, and was it an issue about the screening of BBC this documentary in the Jamia campus?
My name is Manzar Imam. I'm a PhD student. See, on the eve of 74th Republic Day, it's an attack on individuals' freedom. It's an attack on the freedom of students. Students learn through different ways, by reading, writing, observing, watching, and this is something which is being stopped, being prevented. If students want to watch a particular documentary, what is the problem? This has been made by the BBC, one of the most reputed media organizations. If BBC is lying, then government should file a case against it.
Well, actually, it is not about the BBC. It is the Vice Chancellor of Jamia who has said that this is an attempt to try and disturb peace on campus, which is why this action has been taken. Let me also cut across to JNU, where in fact yesterday there were heated scenes. Priyank was right there at the spot. Now a new video has emerged of a JNU TV journalist who was heckled, pushed. He's filed a complaint. What prompted that attack on him, Priyank, since you were there?
See, Padmaja, it's certainly the narrative which suits them, because JNU, SU has been now these days known for obvious opposition to any government policy without no obvious reason. They are talking about journalistic identity, they are talking about the freedom of expression. So what wrong this Janam TV reporter has done? They are ready to believe what BBC has said, which has been opposed by the government of India. There is an advisory which has certainly come out, which says that there could be a trouble because of the kind of narrative which has been built up by a foreign channel, a broadcaster which is not based in India, but those public broadcasters like Janam TV reporter being beaten up by them. So you can clearly see that there is a false narrative which they have tried to portray. Yes, there were stones hurled. We were reporting right there on the spot. We have condemned the act of whosoever was behind this, throwing of the stone, on the effort which was put in by the student, even if the lights were off. But attacking a media person and then trying to take side of another media organization, certainly it's not in my capacity, to understand what kind of ideology they have been talking about.
Absolutely, and now it is up to the police to identify who these people were and take action against them. Times Now, in fact, has also spoken to eyewitnesses of the JNU violence. Remember, it is an extremely fraught situation. We've seen this happening earlier also in both campuses, in Jamia and in JNU. Both sides are presenting their own versions of what happened. Let's listen in to this eyewitness.
ये हम लोग लेकर वाइस चांसलर जी के पास जा रहे हैं, हम उनको ज्ञापन सौंपेंगे और हमारे विद्यार्थी के साथ, हमारे स्कूल के हमारे अनुज हैं ये, इनके साथ ऐसी घटना घटी है और इसकी हम कड़ी शब्दों में भर्त्सना करते हैं कि ऐसी घटना एक विश्वविद्यालय में हम पढ़ने आते हैं और हमको हमारी जाति और हमारे मतलब हमारे पहनावे पर अगर ये लोग देखकर ऐसे हमारे ऊपर आक्रमण करते हैं तो ये कोई नई घटना नहीं है।
ये है कि गौरव एक हृदय का रोग है गौरव को, और वहाँ इतनी भीड़ में गौरव को इस तरह से मतलब एक असह्य वेदना दी जा रही थी, असह्य दुख दिया जा रहा था। गौरव कह रहा था कि मुझे थोड़ा मैं दवाई ले लूं, थोड़ा मैं ये कर लूं, उसे कहीं नहीं जाने दे रहे थे। तो ऐसी केवल एक गौरव नहीं है अकेला, ऐसे कई लोग हैं जो चंदन लगाते हैं, जो अपनी धार्मिक क्रियाएं करते हैं और इनके द्वारा उनके ऊपर आक्रमण किया जाता है।
More news coming in. The banned controversial BBC docu-series on Prime Minister Modi was played at the Punjab University Student Centre by NSUI Chandigarh, but was later stopped after half-time by Punjab University authorities. Let's get the latest from Gurpreet. Yes, Gurpreet, on what grounds was it stopped by Punjab University?
Some of the NSUI student leaders, they were running this documentary. Immediately somebody had given information to the Punjab University Authority saying that this documentary is being run at the student center and student center in Chandigarh University. What we have learned from the authority also, they did not get any permission to display and to run this BBC documentary. At the same time, it has a controversial material, so that's why all the precautions were being taken by the authorities immediately, and in the middle of that they had just come and stopped it. So let's see that what more action they are going to take against them, because the Punjab University campus, there is need to get a permission from the concerned authorities. They are trying to verify each and every angle into this thing to find out whether they have got the permission.
Well,
and
already
why
the NSUI has said that they are going to organize it across the country. So the left and Congress are very clear that they are going to keep at least this pot boiling for the time being. But what really is the truth of this documentary? The entire argument about the ban aside, which anyway we have said is not justified, what about the content of the documentary? And more importantly, when the screening is being done, is it with a motive to uphold freedom of expression or something else? Let me take this across to Feroz Bakht Ahmed, the former Vice Chancellor of Maulana Azad University, Junaid Raza, Councillor at the JNU Students Union, Sanjay Jha, author. But my first question is to former journalist and now Chief Information Commissioner, Uday Mahurkar, who also in fact has reported extensively on the 2002 riots. Mr. Mahurkar, I want to first talk about the documentary. What do you make of it? Because you covered it as a journalist, and now if you see the documentary, what do you think?
I think it's part of a smear campaign being run by BBC and some other international media, against India, against the present government in power and against the Prime Minister. It is very clear, because BBC is not above the Supreme Court of India. I mean, when the Supreme Court of India has exonerated the Prime Minister to lodge a protest. And you see, You see, I was the person who covered this entire episode very closely as I was in charge of India Today in Gujarat. And I have covered it in great detail actually, you know. The entire story was upheld by the Supreme Court of India later on. For example, there was one where it was peddled for almost 8 years that one lady called Kausarbi her womb was ripped open, she was pregnant, and the child was lifted at the point of sword. This was totally wrong, because in 2010, when I met the doctor who did postmortem on this lady, he said that no such incident had happened. That lady had died during riots. She died because of burning, you know. But then this whole episode was created.
Okay.
By
Sir, you
who wanted to run a...
Okay, so you're calling it a smear campaign, but the opposition says finally the truth is coming out.
No. What I am saying is that the highest court of the country exonerated Mr. Narendra Modi long time back. Plus, now there is more and more evidence to prove that most of the allegations during the regarding the 2002 riots were false.
Okay.
Most allegations. And this whole thing was debated in the court of law for many years. So I think, I mean, you see, BBC, The Economist and New York Times, they have been time and again raking up this issue only with an intention which I can call political. There is no other reason. And I think the time has come for the UK government to look into the structure of BBC. BBC is, as I understand now, is full of people who have anti-India bias. There are pan-Islamists there. There are leftist thinking people who are running the show there. I think their bluff should be called now.
Okay, so you're calling out the motivation, sir. Please stay with me. I want to open this up. Junaid Raza, factually it is being called out, and now the question is, why engage in violence? Yesterday, for example, what happened at JNU?
देखिए, सबसे पहली चीज़ ये है कि दो चीज़ों में आप लोग वो कंफ्यूज हो रहे हैं। सबसे पहली चीज़ की एक चीज़ ये किया जा रहा है कि प्रोटेस्ट था। लोग बार बार ये कह रहे हैं, मैं जो मीडिया के माध्यम से सुनने को मिल रहा है कि प्रोटेस्ट था। सबसे पहली चीज़ ये है कि प्रोटेस्ट वो था नहीं। मूवी स्क्रीनिंग का कॉल था JNU का, और JNU प्रशासन ने किया ये कि वहां पर पावर कट कर दिया। पावर कट करने के बाद ये नतीजा हुआ कि मूवी स्क्रीनिंग हो नहीं पाई, इसलिए छात्रों ने वहां पे अपने लैपटॉप में उसको डॉक्यूमेंट्री को देखना शुरू किया। उसी बीच वहां पर ABVP के छात्रों को पता नहीं क्या तकलीफ हुई कि उन लोगों ने स्टोन पेल्टिंग करनी शुरू की। फिर वहां पर जब स्टोन पेल्टिंग शुरू हुई तो जो कॉमन स्टूडेंट्स थे उनके बीच एक भगदड़ मची। फिर उसके बाद से वो मार्च करते हुए नॉर्थ गेट पर आए। नॉर्थ गेट पर इन लोगों ने स्लोगन रेस किया। फिर उसके बाद से बसंत कुंज थाने की तरफ गए। और सबसे पहली चीज ये है कि जो आप वायलेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, और दो चीजें, एक और चीज सुनने को मिल रही है कि दो ग्रुप के बीच, मतलब कि दो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बीच स्कफल हुआ। सबसे पहली चीज ये है कि स्कफल तो हुआ नहीं, ABVP की तरफ से कॉमन छात्रों के ऊपर। अच्छा, आप एक बात मानती तो हैं कि इस कैंपस में ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के मेंबर के अलावा कॉमन स्टूडेंट्स भी एग्जिस्ट करते हैं, वो भी सर्वाइव करते हैं इस कैंपस में, वो भी रहते हैं। तो बार बार ये कहना कि क्या बोलते हैं कि एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लोगों ने क्या बोलते हैं कि बंधक बना लिया, एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लोगों पर अटैक हुआ, मेरे ख्याल से कहीं पर भी ये जस्टिफाई नहीं किया जा सकता।
सर, ये आप कह रहे हैं कि ABVP ने पथराव किया, ABVP कह रहा है कि आपने उनके ऊपर अटैक किया। ये तो अल्टीमेटली पुलिस ही बता सकती है कि किसने किस पर अटैक किया। फिरोज बख्त अहमद, ये आर्गुमेंट है कि अगर आप चलने देते तो क्या हर्ज हो जाता? ये तो सिर्फ फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन अपना अपहोल्ड कर रहे थे।
ऑल राइट, Padmaja ji. Now, Padmaja, please, just I would very humbly request all my co-panelists not to heckle or not to disturb. You see, it's a matter of great concern, huge concern, that, you know, the campuses are being attacked by this kind of a thing. I mean, why should this film be seen by the students under the guise of freedom of expression? Now, this is, you know, it is something like this that tomorrow in Germany, someone would start, you know, showing the film of the massacre of Jews. I mean, this is no way. Modi has been exonerated by the Supreme Court. He has faced the case for many years. In 2012, all the clean sheets were given to him. Firstly, now I just want to ask a question from all those people who want to see these films either in JNU or in Jamia or anywhere. What is their purport? What is their purpose?
What is
India
your purpose?
Is going
Answer.
to,
Junaid is answering you. What is your purpose, Junaid?
You know, group. Yes. What do they want? Do they want to demonize India? Do they want to be after the jugular of Prime Minister Modi? What is their purpose?
बताइए, Junaid, बताइए.
नहीं, एक चीज़ आपको ये देखने की ज़रूरत है. अभी एक रैंकिंग रिलीज वो किया गया है, पब्लिक किया गया है कि फ्रीडम ऑफ प्रेस इंडेक्स में इंडिया 150 पे पहुंच गया है. सवाल इस चीज़ का है कि ये गवर्नमेंट जो है, ये जो सेंसरशिप का पूरा इशू है, ये गवर्नमेंट ये तय नहीं करेगी कि हम क्या बोलेंगे, क्या खाएंगे, क्या करेंगे, क्या नहीं करेंगे. राइट टू लाइफ भी किसी चीज़ का नाम है, किसी चीज़ का नाम है. ये मतलब
मिसगाइड हो, यू आर मिसगाइडिंग एंड मिसलीडिंग. You are provoking the people. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन जितनी इंडिया में है, मैं नहीं समझता किसी और मुल्क के अंदर होगी. आप मिसगाइड कर रहे हैं, आप झूठ बोल रहे हैं. इस तरह की बातें, अफवाहें मत फैलाइए. ये करोड़ों लोग इस प्रोग्राम को देख रहे हैं मेरे भाई. जुनैद भाई, यू आर अ स्टूडेंट. और एक बात मैं और कहता चलूं इस पे. आप सुनिए, एक बात मैं और कह दूं. देखिए, स्टूडेंट्स का काम नहीं होता कि प्रोटेस्ट करें, इस तरह की फिल्में देखें. उनका काम होता है आगे बढ़ना, पढ़ना और मुल्क को आगे बढ़ाना. आप पॉलिटिसाइज मत करिए, कम्युनलाइज मत करिए,
पॉलिटिक्स मत कीजिए, पढ़ाई कीजिए. जुनैद,
इंडिया इज गोइंग ऑन अ फास्ट ट्रैक ऑफ बिकमिंग द वर्ल्ड लीडर.
एक मिनट सर, एक चीज़ आप मुझे बहुत ध्यान से सुनिएगा, क्योंकि मैं बहुत पेशेंस के साथ आपकी बात सुन रहा हूं और मैं डिस्टर्ब भी नहीं कर रहा हूं. आप मानते हैं कि छात्रों को पढ़ना चाहिए? मैं भी मानता हूं ये बात. क्या आपकी नज़र उस वक्त कहां चली गई थी जब इसी कैंपस में 3-4 रोज पहले कश्मीरी फाइल्स जो मूवी है, जो कमर्शियल मूवी है, उसको दिखाई गई थी? आप नहीं चाहते हैं कि आपके कैंपस के छात्र आपके प्रधानमंत्री के ऊपर शोध करें? क्या आप नहीं चाहते हैं कि आपके प्रधानमंत्री के बारे में लोग जानें? आपके कैंपस के छात्र क्या बोलते हैं कि आपकी प्रधानमंत्री की पर्सनालिटी के ऊपर काम करें? आप बार बार जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट की बात कर रहे हैं. अच्छा, एक मिनट लेट मी प्लीज. आप बार बार जो बात कर रहे हैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट का, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्या नहीं कहा था कि टेम्परेरी?
क्या आप भूल गए जब प्रधानमंत्री ने अपने घर के ऊपर, सुनिए, आप 60-70 इंटेलेक्चुअल्स, मुस्लिम इंटेलेक्चुअल्स को और क्लरिक्स को बुलाकर ये कहा था कि मैं हर मुसलमान के एक हाथ में कुरान, एक में कंप्यूटर देखना चाहता हूं. उन्होंने ये भी कहा था कि मुसलमान हमारी संतान की माफिक है, हम उनके साथ बराबरी का सुलूक करेंगे. क्या आपने ये नहीं सुना? आप हमेशा नेगेटिविटी की.
Sanjay Jha, Feroz Saab's thoughts are that this is more about spreading unrest than freedom of expression. He is asking, tomorrow in Germany, would you want a film to be screened about the massacre of Jews?
I don't think the Vice Chancellor is probably aware. I thought he would be, because he's expected to be a very learned man, erudite man. But the Vice Chancellor in Germany, they don't hide the concentration camp. Please don't interrupt me when I speak, Vice Chancellor. Let me speak. Let's have a decent, civilized conversation. In Germany, they don't hide their concentration camps. The Germans have accepted the shame of the massacre of the Jews. It is a reminder to them of how politicians have actually destroyed humanity.
But Sanjay Jha, isn't there a difference? I fundamentally disagree with what Feroz Saab said, for the simple reason that the Holocaust was never disproven, or rather Hitler's involvement in the Holocaust was never disproven by any court of law, as opposed to the 2002 riots, which were systematically, as far as the involvement of Mr. Modi is concerned, it was systematically dismissed by the court of India.
Let me answer you very quickly. You have a gentleman here, another panelist, who said that the Supreme Court has absolved everybody who was accused of...
Not everybody, but Mr. Modi. Yeah. And Mr. Modi is, let's be clear, the focus of this documentary. This is not about Maya-Ben Kodnani, or this is not about 100 other people who are in jail. This is about Mr. Modi. And Mr. Modi has been absolved by the Supreme Court. That's a fact.
Okay, now let me quote the Supreme Court back to you. Also a fact, Padmaja. The Supreme Court is on record to call the Gujarat government and its chief minister as Emperor Nero. What was Emperor Nero famous for?
Sir, we will ultimately go not by observations of the Supreme Court in the course of the trial. We will go with what the final findings are. You will agree with that? You will agree with that?
1 minute. Would you agree that the gentleman here is wrong? This has got nothing to do with the BBC. This is the British Foreign Office report.
Sir, why are we shifting goalposts? All that we are talking about now, this is now beyond the BBC. BBC, we've always said, is well within its rights to make what it wants. The question that is being asked now is of the motivation of people who are wanting to screen it here. Is it a genuine motivation of promoting freedom of expression, or is there another agenda at play? Is the simple point. Anyhow, our job is just to put the facts out there, just like the BBC claims that they are also doing. Ultimately, the people can decide. Thanks very much, all gentlemen, for joining us, and also in the hope that there should be peace in all campuses. Better sense should prevail. Thanks for watching.